Good morning, Salem High. I'm Ethan, and today is Friday, December 4th, 2020. This week's quote of the week is "It's a tough time even for tough people, but we will all fare better if we summon the better angels of our nature." This week, we have an interview with the school nurses about safety measures for COVID 19 and what their jobs are like overall, because, well, it's more than meets the eye. But first, considering that we would usually do our annual Spirit Week special at this time, let's recap the results. The winners of Spirit Week overall are, why am I not surprised, the seniors. No other information was given, so it's fair to assume that the juniors, sophomores, and freshmen came in second, third, and fourth place respectively, much like in past years. By now, you're probably already aware that COVID 19 has recently had a dramatic increase in new cases. Massachusetts alone currently has over 200,000 positive test results as of the time of filming. But 8.5 months under lockdown won't stop us from trying to get as close to business as usual as possible. Anyway, you might be thinking, this COVID stuff is no big deal. If you test negative, you're good to go. If you are, you clearly do not know the facts about COVID risks. Man, I'm going back to Ethan's endeavors territory here. So joining me today to discuss just that, among others, is our very own nurses. Let's head over to them right now. Good morning, Salem High. Right now, I'm here with our school nurses, Nurse Kate and Nurse Rebecca. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Definitely happy to be here.
All right. So my first question goes to those who were just curious. What is it like being a school nurse?
So it's definitely interesting. We see a lot of different things. We generally take care of kids every day for needs they might have during the school day. And we also take care of kids who have emergencies like broken bones, open wounds, different things. So what I like about it is it's a little different every day.
Building up on that, why did you choose this work?
So I personally chose school nursing. I'm not going to lie, a little bit for the schedule. I'll tell you, when you first start nursing and you work in a hospital, you almost always have to work a holiday or 2 or 3, and you might be on call and you could be having 12-hour shifts. So it's really nice to get away from that and do something that's more of a 9 to 5, or in our case, a 7 to 3. And I really like the interaction with the kiddos. I think this year is something that we miss, seeing you guys in the nurse's office, because we know the policies have changed and you can't just pop in to say hi or ask your questions. And we definitely miss that, because that is mostly the reason why I took the position. I like being able to help you kids, and especially at the high school level. I'd much rather help you guys figure out and navigate to get into the real world in a few years than to be dealing with the kids on the playground.
Now, how has it changed since we had to go into lockdown several months ago?
I think we do a lot more case managing. Not that we didn't do that before, but I feel like we're answering a lot more emails. We're doing contact tracing in our job as well now. So if there's a student that's positive, or we hear a family member that's positive of a student, we're touching base with families and doing a lot of contact tracing, which is different. So a whole lot more of case management, which is very time consuming. And right now, since we don't have a lot of in-person students, that is the majority of where our time is spent in our job currently.
And we were definitely working on that when we weren't in school. So Kate and I were helping the Board of Health track COVID cases back since March. So we would call people who were positive, find out who they spent time near, and followed up with their cases for as long as it took. Some people, it was, the classic 10 days, and some people were sick for a month or so.
Okay, speaking of COVID, how has our understanding of its risk changed over the past few months?
I think we definitely are learning more every day, and things are changing. But if I can say anything to keep everybody as safe as possible, is stay home if you can, wear your mask, and if you're coming to school, always wear your mask and keep your 6 feet of distance. I know it stinks missing your friends, and trust me, we haven't seen our friends. I'm still doing a virtual book club, and it stinks, but we have to figure out a way to stay safe so we can keep everybody safe. And then, the longer we do this, hopefully the quicker we get into a place where we won't have so many restrictions.
I would say another misunderstanding about COVID risks is a lot of time people think that that because they're not symptomatic, that they're not sick. So I would say that that's one of the misunderstandings of this virus, is that if people don't have symptoms, that they're not sick, but that's not the case at all. Sometimes you can be positive for the virus, but just not present with any symptoms.
Well, that's kind of interesting, because my next question deals with just that. Common misunderstandings about its risks. What do you think is the biggest of those?
I think another big one, especially thinking about the holidays that have just recently passed and coming up, is if you get tested and you test negative, that means you don't have it and you can go hang out with your friends and do everything. But that's not the case, because a lot of times what they're saying is you can test negative very early on when you're sick, and a couple days later you could test positive. So getting tested is a great way to stay safe, but it's not the end all be all in staying safe. So you can't say, oh, I'm negative on Monday, so I'm good until next Monday, because you don't know who you're going to see Monday after you get tested, or maybe you saw someone Sunday night and your test wouldn't be positive on Monday. It might take till a test on Wednesday or Thursday to be positive.
Okay, now we're gonna get a little bit interesting here. Do you guys deal with some crazy stuff? Anything interesting that's gone on during this time or not?
So I can't speak for everything, but in the past, we were talking before this, in nursing school, I've definitely seen some cool things. I've seen spine surgeries. I saw a knee replacement, which is pretty awesome to see. So in nursing school, you get to do a little bit of everything. You do rotations for everywhere, so you get to see a little bit of everything. And at school, we've also definitely seen some crazy stuff that you might not expect to see at school. Definitely seen a lot of broken bones that, and I will say some of our kids are pretty tough. They're not, they come in and they were walking and I didn't know they had something that was broken.
How are high school students and their needs different from the general population? And Nurse Kate, why don't you answer this one?
So I would say not necessarily that they're different, but I feel like from a nursing standpoint, a lot of the times we're the first line. So when something happens, the kids will tend to come to us. So I would say that not necessarily that their needs are different, but that their access to nursing care when they're in school, they can get it right away. We're also lucky enough because in the high school, there's the teen health center. So kids can also have direct access to a nurse practitioner, which is great because it can set them up with various health services that they can get completed down at the teen health center, such as physicals. They can get vaccinations, which is a big one for us, as well as they can have confidential visits with a nurse practitioner, which is great because as kids get older, their needs change, and having that resource is extremely beneficial to the high school population.
And I think to put a little plug in here, as we're all aware, there is a new state guidance that says you have to get a flu vaccine if you're going to be an in-person student. So make sure this is due by December 31st. So make sure if you're coming back to school after the new year that you have sent us, you can send it, screenshot it and text it to our work phone if you need to. You can email it to us. You can have your doctor fax it to us. You can bring it in and leave it at the front desk, a copy of your flu vaccine. You can get that at your primary care office. You can usually get it at like a CVS or a Walgreens, and they should be all covered under your insurance.
I mentioned this before during my interview with Mayor Driscoll in the past. Safety is pretty much our top priority around here, isn't it?
Yes.
Definitely. We want to keep everybody safe so that we can open the school to more students so you guys can all come back and feel a little more normal.
Yep. That's our goal. That's
Yeah.
our main goal.
Yeah. Okay, now I have one more question here. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us before we head out?
I think we miss all you guys. So all you guys that, haven't been in school, don't think we don't miss you. We miss you guys popping in and saying hi, and we miss being able to say hi to you. And you guys can all follow our Twitter and our Instagram. We post some very informational things about COVID and about other things. And, we already have like 100 followers, so we're pretty cool.
All right. Well, thanks again, Nurse Kate and Nurse Rebecca, for joining me today. And now let's head back to the studio.
Thank you, Ethan.
Thanks, Ethan.
That's all we have for you today, Salem High. This has been the Salem High News, brought to you by the students of digital media. Take care, stay safe, get educated, stay classy, and we will see you next Friday. Man, I should get back to doing Ethan's endeavors at some point.